A billionaire's mother trades her diamond necklace for a mop and bucket, enters her own son's mansion as a stranger, and what she sees through the eyes of a servant will make her wish she had stayed blind. In the towers of Lagos where money flows like water and hearts turn to stone, Mama Chioma is about to discover that her son, the man she raised, the empire she helped build, has become someone she no longer recognizes. 5 women have tried to marry him. 5 women have failed. But why? The answer is hidden behind closed doors, whispered by maids in the kitchen at midnight, and buried in secrets that only the invisible people see. This is the story of a mother who disappeared into her own home to save her child from a fate worse than loneliness. And what she found will change everything. If you want to know what happens when the richest woman in Nigeria pretends to be the poorest, hit that subscribe button right now, smash the like, and turn on notifications because you will not believe where this story goes. Mama Chioma owns half of Lagos, towers with her name carved in gold, oil fields that stretch beyond the horizon, banks that hold the dreams and debts of millions. But there is one thing her money cannot buy, one thing that slips through her diamond-covered fingers like sand: her son's happiness. Obinna Adeyemi is 35 years old, handsome as a movie star, educated in the finest schools of Europe, and completely alone. 5 engagements in 7 years, 5 beautiful women, 5 spectacular failures. The last one saw their engagement photos to the blogs before he even proposed. The one before that was already married to someone else. And the one before that, she tried to convince him to cut his mother out of his will. Mama Chioma sits in her mansion in Victoria Island, surrounded by everything money can buy, and realizes she knows nothing about her own son anymore. They talk about business, they discuss investments, but when was the last time they laughed together? When was the last time he called her just to hear her voice? She cannot remember. And this terrifies her more than any market crash ever could. So she goes to see a babalawo, a priest of the old ways, in a village 3 hours from Lagos, the kind of place where her Mercedes looks like a spaceship and children run after her convoy throwing flowers. The old man listens to her story. He throws the divination bones. He reads the patterns in ways she has forgotten how to see. And then he tells us something that changes everything. To find true gold, you must walk through dust. To see a pure heart, you must remove your crown. Your son does not need a wife chosen by a mother. He needs a mother who understands the man he has become. She asks him what he means. He simply smiles and says, "Go where you are not recognized and watch what you have been too high to see." Mama Chioma returns to Lagos with a plan so crazy, so dangerous, that if anyone knew, they would think she had lost her mind. She will become invisible. She will enter her son's world as a servant. She will see what happens when no one knows who she really is. It takes her 2 weeks to build the perfect disguise. She finds a small agency that places domestic workers in wealthy homes. She creates a new identity. Patience Onkonko from Benin City, 52 years old, widowed, no children, looking for work to send money back to her sick mother. She cuts her hair short, removes her jewelry, burns her designer clothes in a private ceremony that feels like a funeral. She practices scrubbing floors until her knees ache and her hands blister. She studies the way poor women walk, talk, lower their eyes when rich people enter a room. And when she looks in the mirror, she does not recognize herself. This is what invisibility looks like. This is what poverty wears. She applies for the job as a maid in her own son's house through the agency. The interview is conducted by the head housekeeper, a woman named Gloria, who has worked for Obinna for 3 years. Gloria looks at her papers, asks her a few questions, and hires her on the spot. "When can you start?" "Tomorrow," Mama Chioma says. "Tomorrow, I become someone else."
Her first day in her son's house as Patience the maid is the strangest day of her life. She has been in this mansion 1,000 times. She helped design it. She knows every room, every hallway, every secret corner. But now she enters through the back door, the servant's entrance she never knew existed. Now she eats in the kitchen with the staff, sleeps in a small room behind the laundry, and waits for orders like everyone else. Obinna walks past her that first morning. He is on his phone, shouting at someone about a delayed shipment. He does not look at her, not once. She is invisible, and this breaks her heart in ways she did not expect. But she came here to watch, so she watches. The other servants talk freely around her. They think she is just another maid, another poor woman grateful for work. So they tell her things. Chef Emeka, who has worked here for 5 years, tells her that Obinna used to be different, used to smile, used to ask about their families, their children, their lives. But something changed after his father died 3 years ago. Now he barely speaks, just works, eats, sleeps, works again, like a machine. Driver Jerome tells her about the girlfriends, how they arrive in designer clothes and leave in tears, how they treat the staff like furniture, snapping their fingers, never saying please or thank you, how Obinna never defends the workers, never seems to notice how cruel these women are. Gloria, the head housekeeper, is bitter. She tells Patience about the last girlfriend, a woman named Zara, who made the maids stand in a line so she could film them for her social media without asking, who threw food at the chef because the soup was too hot, who called Jerome a stupid man when he took a wrong turn in traffic. And Obinna said nothing, just let it happen, like he had given up caring about anything except money and deals and the next business meeting. Mama Chioma listens to all of this and feels like someone is squeezing her heart. This is not the son she raised. The boy who used to help their old housemaid carry heavy water buckets? The teenager who shared his lunch with the security guard every day. What happened to him? Where did that boy go? She watches Obinna for days, taking mental notes like a spy. He wakes at 5 in the morning, works out alone in the gym, showers, dresses in expensive suits that cost more than most people earn in a year. He eats breakfast while on conference calls, barely tasting the food Chef Emeka spent an hour preparing. He leaves for the office without saying goodbye to anyone, returns late at night, eats dinner in his study while reading reports, goes to bed, repeats. This is not a life. This is a schedule. This is existence without living. And she realizes with a shock that hurts like a physical blow, her son is not happy. He has not been happy in years, and she never noticed because she was too busy being rich to see him being miserable. Week 2 of her undercover mission brings the first girlfriend. Her name is Zara, and she arrives like a hurricane, 26 years old, Instagram famous, wearing sunglasses that cost 50,000 naira and carrying a purse with logos so big you can see them from space. She walks into the house like she owns it, snapping her fingers at the staff, demanding champagne, demanding lunch, demanding that someone carry her 7 shopping bags upstairs. Mama Chioma, playing Patience the maid, carries the bags. They are heavy. Zara does not say thank you. Zara does not say anything to her except move faster. Obinna comes home to find Zara sprawled on his couch, taking selfies. He looks tired. He looks like he wants to tell her to leave, but instead he kisses her cheek and asks about her day. She talks for 30 minutes without asking him a single question about his. Mama Chioma serves them dinner and watches. Zara posts photos of the food before eating, complains that the chicken is too dry even though it is perfectly cooked, and then disappears to the bathroom for 20 minutes to take more photos. When she returns, she tells Obinna she needs a new car. Her old one is embarrassing her. It is only 1 year old. He writes her a check without argument. She kisses him, calls him baby, and leaves. He sits alone at the table after she is gone, staring at nothing. And Mama Chioma sees something in his eyes that makes her want to cry. He knows. He knows she does not love him. He knows she only wants his money. And he accepts it anyway,
because he has forgotten what real love looks like. The next girlfriend is worse. Her name is Amara, and she's different from Zara. Sophisticated, educated, a lawyer with her own money, or so she claims. She treats the staff with polite coldness, which somehow feels worse than Zara's open rudeness. She smiles and says please, but her eyes are dead. Mama Chioma, cleaning the living room one evening, overhears a phone call. Amara is in the guest bathroom, door cracked open, talking to someone, discussing prenup loopholes, talking about how much she can get in a divorce even if the marriage only lasts 2 years, laughing about how easy it is to play the good girl when the price is this big. Mama Chioma's hands shake with rage. But she says nothing. She is invisible. She just listens and watches and takes notes. When Obina proposes a weekend trip, Amara suddenly cannot go. Work emergency, she says. But Mama Chioma sees her living that same weekend with another man. Young, handsome, definitely not a work colleague. She takes photos on her phone, evidence for later, and feels sick to her stomach. Her son is being played. And he either does not see it or has given up caring. Everything changes when Chidima arrives. She is 27 years old, from a small village in Enugu State, and she's hired as a junior maid to help with increased workload. Mama Chioma notices her immediately because Chidima is different from everyone else in this house. She smells. She hums while she walks. She treats everyone with respect, from the gardener to Obina himself. When Chef Emeka drops a pot, everyone freezes, expecting him to explode with anger and frustration. But Chidima just helps him clean up, joking that at least the floor needed washing anyway. When Gloria snapped at her for folding towels wrong, Chidima apologizes sincerely and asks to be shown the correct way. She has no ego, no bitterness, just a quiet strength that reminds Mama Chioma of someone. It takes her 2 days to realize who. Herself. 30 years ago, before the money, before the empire, when she was just Chioma from Owerri, working as a secretary and dreaming of a better life. Chidima is who she used to be. Obina notices her too. Mama Chioma sees it happen in slow motion. He comes home one evening, stressed and angry from a bad missing. He's on his phone, yelling at someone about a failed deal. He's not watching where he's walking. He crashes into Chidima in the hallway. She drops the laundry basket, clothes scatter everywhere. He stops yelling into his phone, looks down, sees her scrambling to pick up the shirts and towels, and for the first time in weeks, Mama Chioma sees her son's face change. He ends the call, gets down on his knees, helps her pick up the laundry. She tries to tell him, "No, sir, I can't do it, sir. Please, sir, you do not have to." But he ignores her protests and helps anyway. When they finish, he looks at her properly for the first time, asks her name. She tells him, "Chidima." He repeats it slowly, like he's tasting the sound. Then he does something Mama Chioma has not seen him do in months. He smiles. Small, brief, but real. "Thank you, Chidima," he says, and walks away. Chidima stands in the hallway holding the basket, looking confused and slightly amazed that the billionaire boss just helped her pick up laundry. Mama Chioma, watching from around the corner, feels hope for the first time since this crazy plan began. Over the next 2 weeks, Mama Chioma observes something beautiful and terrifying. Obina and Chidima keep accidentally running into each other. In the kitchen early in the morning when they both cannot sleep. In the garden where she's watering plants and he's taking a rare break from work. In the hallway, the library, the garage. Every time they talk, a little longer. Every time he smiles, a little more. Chidima does not flirt. She does not try to impress him. She just treats him like a human being. Asks him simple questions. "Did you eat today, sir? You look tired, sir. Are you sleeping enough? Why do you work so hard, sir? Does money really make you happy?" Questions no one else dares to ask. And he answers her honestly. "No, I did not eat. No, I do not sleep well. I do not know if money makes me happy. I do not remember what happiness feels like." These conversations happen in fragments, stolen moments between his meetings and her chores. But they are real, more real than anything Mama Chioma has seen her son experience in years. And she knows watching them that her plan has worked better than she imagined. She came to find her son a wife, and she may have found exactly that. But there is a problem. A massive, complicated problem that makes her stomach turn with anxiety every single day. Chidima has no idea who Mama Chioma really is. Obina has no idea his mother is watching everything. And the lies, the deception, the whole elaborate scheme is like a bomb waiting to explode in all of their faces.
Chidima begins to confide in Patience. That is what she calls Mama Chioma. Patience, the elder maid, the wise woman who treats her with kindness. They work together often, and during their tasks,
Chidima opens up. She tells Patience about her family. Her father who died building houses for rich people in Lagos, crushed by falling concrete when his employer skipped safety measures to save money. Her mother who works 3 jobs in their village to keep Chidima's 3 younger siblings in school. How Chidima took this maid job because it pays well enough to send money home every month. But it is temporary. She is studying. At nights, after work, she takes online classes. She wants to be an architect, wants to design safe buildings, good houses, homes that workers like her father can build without dying. Mama Chioma listens to this and feels her heart crack open. This girl has nothing. Everything she earns goes to her family. She sleeps on a thin mattress in a tiny room and studies by phone light until midnight. And yet she is happy, content, full of hope. She has more joy in poverty than Obinna has in all his billions. This is what my son needs, Mama Chioma thinks. Not someone who wants his money. Someone who understands that money is just paper and metal, that life is measured in different ways. But then Chidima says something that changes everything. We are sitting in the kitchen, peeling vegetables for dinner. Patience, she says quietly. Can I tell you something? Of course, my dear, Mama Chioma replies. Chidima looks around to make sure no one else is listening. I think I am falling in love with Oga, she whispers. With Mr. Obinna. I know it is foolish. I know he would never look at someone like me. I am just a maid. But when he talks to me, when he smiles, I forget about everything else. I forget that we are from different worlds. I forget that this is impossible. And it scares me, Patience, because I cannot afford to lose this job. My family depends on me. But every day it gets harder to keep my feelings hidden. What should I do? Mama Chioma's hands freeze on the vegetable she is peeling. This is the moment she has been waiting for, the moment she has been praying for. Her son is falling for a good woman, a real woman, a woman who loves him for who he is, not what he owns. But this woman thinks she is talking to another servant. She has no idea she is confessing to the billionaire's mother. What would she say if she knew? Would Mama Chioma arrange everything, manipulate her, use her poverty as a test? Before Mama Chioma can respond, Chef Emeka bursts into the kitchen with news that makes everyone forget about love confessions. Oga's mother is coming. Mama Adeyemi herself, the great woman, the queen of Lagos, she is coming to visit tomorrow. The entire staff erupts in panic. Gloria starts shouting orders, deep cleaning, fresh flowers, the expensive china. Everything must be perfect. Mama Chioma feels ice water in her veins. She never arranged this visit. She never told anyone she was coming. So who? Her assistant. It must be her assistant, following her regular schedule, setting up appointments the way she always does. And tomorrow, Mama Adeyemi Adebola is supposed to arrive at her son's house for their monthly business dinner, which means tomorrow, Patience the maid will have to disappear or face being discovered. She excuses herself from the kitchen, goes to her tiny room and sits on her bed with her head in her hands. What has she done? She built this house of lies so carefully, so completely, that now she cannot escape without bringing it all crashing down. That evening, Obinna comes home early. This is unusual. He usually works until midnight. But tonight, he arrives at 7, and he brings someone with him. Zara, the Instagram girlfriend. She is dressed like she's going to a movie premiere. Makeup perfect, jewelry glittering, she announces loudly that she's staying the weekend. Obinna looks uncomfortable, but says nothing. The staff exchanges glances. This is going to be a long 2 days. Zara immediately starts making demands. She wants champagne, she wants caviar, she wants the guest room redecorated because the current color makes her look pale in photos. Gloria assigns Patience to attend to Zara's needs. Mama Chioma wants to refuse. She wants to say she has bigger problems to worry about than a spoiled child playing dress-up. But she cannot. She is Patience, the maid. So she goes upstairs with fresh towels and begins the nightmare of serving someone who treats humans like furniture.
Zara does not speak to her directly. She speaks at her. Maid, bring me water. Maid, my shoes. Maid, this towel smells weird. Get me a new one. Mama Chioma, who owns hotels and casinos and office buildings,
who is addressed as Madame by governors and generals, bites her tongue and says, "Yes, ma." She thinks about her mother, dead now for 10 years, who worked as a maid in her youth, who used to tell stories about the rich women who made her feel small. "I never understood, Mama," Mama Chioma thinks. "I never understood what you endured. I am sorry." While Zara is in the bathroom taking selfies, Mama Chioma notices something. Her purse is open on the bed. Inside is a small notebook. Mama Chioma should not look, she knows this, but something makes her glance at the open page. It is a list. Jewelry at house, watches in bedroom, estimate value, best time to access safe, Jerome knows code maybe. Her blood turns to ice. This woman is not just a gold digger, she is a thief. She's planning to rob her own boyfriend. Mama Chioma takes a photo with her phone, careful to make no sound. Evidence. For later. For when this all comes out. Downstairs, Chidima is serving dinner to Obinna and Zara. Mama Chioma watches from the kitchen door. Chidima treats Chidima like an insect, snapping her fingers, talking over her, making jokes about the help. Obinna says nothing. He just eats his food, looking miserable, checking his phone every 2 minutes like he wants to be anywhere but here. Then, Zara says something that makes everyone freeze. She is talking to Obinna, but loud enough for the staff to hear. "Baby, when we get married, we should fire all these people and hire new staff. Fresh energy, you know? Plus, this maid," she points at Chidima without looking at her. "She is too pretty. I do not like pretty maids in my house. Makes me insecure." She laughs like this is a joke. No one else laughs. Obinna finally looks up from his phone. "Zara," he says quietly, "that is inappropriate." She pouts. "I am just being honest, baby. You always say you love my honesty." There is a long, terrible silence. Then, Obinna stands up. "I am tired," he says. "I am going to bed." He walks out without finishing his food, without kissing Zara goodnight, without looking at anyone. Zara sits alone at the table, furious, humiliated. She glares at Chidima. "This is your fault," she hisses. "You can leave now." Chidima bows and leaves, but Mama Chioma sees tears in the girl's eyes. That night, Mama Chioma cannot sleep. Tomorrow her cover will be blown. Tomorrow the lies end. She paces her small room, trying to decide what to do. Leave now, in the middle of the night, ghost everyone, stay and face the chaos, tell Obinna the truth before he finds out another way. She is still awake at 2 in the morning when she hears footsteps in the hallway. Someone is walking around. She opens her door quietly and sees Chidima. The young woman is fully dressed, carrying a small bag. She is leaving. Mama Chioma follows her silently downstairs. In the kitchen, Chidima stops. She pulls out a piece of paper and a pen. She is writing something, a resignation letter. She is quitting. Mama Chioma steps out of the shadows. Chidima jumps, startled. "Patience! What are you doing awake?" "I could ask you the same thing, my dear. Why are you leaving?" Chidima wipes her eyes. "I cannot stay here. It is too hard, too painful. I thought I could separate my feelings from my work, but I cannot. Every time I see him with that woman, every time she is cruel and he does nothing, my heart breaks a little more. And tonight, hearing her say I am too pretty, like that is a sin, like I am doing something wrong just by existing, I realized I do not belong here. I should go back to my village, find a different job, forget about him." She is crying now, full tears. Mama Chioma does something she knows she should not do. She steps forward and hugs this girl. Hugs her like a daughter. "My dear," she says, "you are not too pretty. You are too good, too real, too pure for this house of gold and lies. But if you leave now, you will regret it forever. Sometimes the best things in life require us to fight for them." Chidima pulls back, confused. "What do you mean?" "What I mean is," she takes a deep breath, Sometimes the people we think are out of reach are closer than we know. Sometimes the impossible is just waiting for someone brave enough to reach for it. You think he does not see you? I watch him every day, Chidima. That man looks at you the way a drowning person looks at air. He is just afraid of making another mistake, afraid of being hurt again. But if you leave, he will never know that someone real finally walked into his life. Give it one more day, just one. And if tomorrow brings no change, then go with my blessing. Chidima stares at her for a long moment, then nods slowly. Okay, Patience, one more day. She puts the resignation letter in her pocket and goes back to her room. Mama Chioma stands alone in the dark kitchen and prays to her ancestors for wisdom. Tomorrow, everything changes. Tomorrow, the truth comes out. But will it bring healing or destruction? Morning arrives like a storm. The staff is running around preparing for Mama Adeyemi's visit. Gloria is screaming about dust on the chandelier. Chef Emeka is cooking enough food for a wedding. Jerome is polishing the cars for the third time. And Mama Chioma, dressed as Patient the maid, is hiding in the laundry room trying to figure out how to fake being sick so she does not have to be present when she arrives to meet herself. But fate has other plans. At exactly 10 in the morning, the doorbell rings. Gloria opens it, but it is not Mama Adeyemi standing there. It is a woman Mama Chioma recognizes, her assistant, looking confused, holding a tablet. I am so sorry, she is saying to Gloria, but Madam Adeyemi cannot make it today. She has been unreachable for 3 weeks. Her security team is worried. We were hoping she might be here with her son. Has anyone seen her? The question hangs in the air like smoke. Obena, hearing voices, comes downstairs. What is going on? His assistant explains again. Your mother has disappeared. No one has seen her for 3 weeks. She is not at her house, not at her office, not answering her phone. We thought maybe she came here. Obina looks genuinely concerned. What do you mean disappeared? People like my mother do not just disappear. Did you check the hospitals? The police? We checked everything, sir. It is like she vanished into thin air. Mama Chioma, listening from the hallway, realizes her time is up. She cannot hide anymore. Not when her son is worried. Not when people think something terrible happened to her. She steps out from her hiding place. Her hands are shaking. Her heart is pounding so hard she can barely breathe. She walks into the living room where everyone is gathered. Excuse me, she says quietly. Everyone turns to look at the maid. What is it, Patience? Gloria snaps. We are busy. Mama Chioma looks at her son, looks into the eyes that are so much like his father's, and says the words that would change everything. I know where your mother is, Obina. She is here. She never left. She has been here the whole time. The room goes silent. Confused faces everywhere. What are you talking about, old woman? Gloria demands. Patient, Chidima whispers. What are you saying? Obina is staring at her now. Really staring. Seeing her for the first time. And Mama Chioma watches as recognition slowly dawns in his eyes. Horror and disbelief and rage all fighting for space on his face. Mama, he whispers. The word is broken, crushed. She nods. Yes, my son, it is me. She pulls off her headscarf, reveals her real hair underneath, shorter now but still hers. She stands straighter, drops the humble maid posture, and becomes herself again. Mama Chioma Adeyemi, richest woman in Lagos, standing in her son's living room wearing a maid's uniform. The assistant drops her tablet. Gloria gasps. The other servants back away like they have seen a ghost. Chidima just stands frozen, her face white with shock. And Obina? Obina looks at his mother like she is a stranger, like she is someone he has never seen before and never wants to see again.
How long? He asks. His voice is cold. Colder than she has ever heard it. How long have you been lying to me? 3 weeks, she admits. Since Patience was hired. Obina, I can explain. Explain? He laughs. It is not a happy sound. Explain how my own mother has been spying on me. Explain how you pretended to be a maid. Explain how every conversation we had, every moment I thought I was talking to a kind stranger was actually you manipulating me.
I was not manipulating you, she starts. You were watching me, he shouts, judging my girlfriends, my life, my choices like I am a child who needs his mother to pick out his clothes. I am 35 years old. Do you know how humiliating this is? His voice is rising with every word. The staff is watching. They cannot help it. This is better than any reality show. But Mama Chioma only cares about her son. She reaches for him. Obinna, please, listen to me. I did this because I love you, because I was worried, because I have watched you become a ghost in your own life and I did not know how else to help you. Help me? He laughs again. You lied to me for 3 weeks. You made a fool of me in my own home. You pretended to be something you are not. How is that helping? Then he turns to Chidima. And you? Did you know about this? Were you part of this scheme? Chidima cannot speak. She just shakes her head, tears streaming down her face. Obinna looks between them, between his mother and the woman who has been taking up space in his heart for 2 weeks. I cannot be here, he says. I cannot look at either of you right now. He walks to the door. Where are you going? Mama Chioma calls after him. Away from liars, he says without turning around. Away from people who think they know what is best for me. Away from this house and everyone in it. The door slams behind him. His car starts. He is gone. And Mama Chioma stands in the middle of the living room, still wearing a maid's uniform, watching the son she tried to save drive away from her. The silence that follows is heavy enough to crush bones. Then Chidima speaks. Her voice is small, but sharp as a knife. You are Mama Adeyemi, the great woman, the billionaire. She looks at Mama Chioma like she is seeing a monster. And I told you everything about my father, my family, my feelings for your son. I trusted you. Did you laugh at me? Did you think it was funny? The poor village girl falling for the rich man's son? Was I a joke to you? No, Mama Chioma says desperately. No, my dear, you do not understand. Then make me understand, Chidima says. Make me understand why you lied to me, why you let me humiliate myself in front of you, why you acted like you cared when you were just using me for your own plans. I was not using you, Mama Chioma insists. I saw you and I recognized something in you, something real and good. I wanted my son to see it too. Chidima laughs through her tears. So I was a test, a project? Let's see if the maid is good enough for the prince. She shakes her head. I thought you understood me. I thought when you hugged me last night, when you told me not to give up, it was real. But it was not real. Nothing about you is real. You are just like every other rich person. You see poor people as toys, things you can move around for your own entertainment. That is not true, Mama Chioma says. She's crying now too. Chidima, please, I care about you. I think you are perfect for my son. Does it matter what you think? Chidima asks. You are not the one who has to love him. You are not the one whose heart is on the line. And now, because of your lies, because of your games, I can never know if his feelings for me are real or just part of your mother's plan. You destroyed something before it even had a chance to live. She turns away. I quit. Gloria, I will send someone for my things. I am leaving. She walks out and Mama Chioma tries to follow. Chidima, wait! But the girl does not stop, does not turn around, just walks out the door and disappears down the street. And Mama Chioma is left standing in her own son's house, wearing a maid's uniform, surrounded by servants who now know her secret. Gloria is the first to recover. She looks at Mama Chioma with something like satisfaction. Madame, she says, her voice dripping with false respect. Do you still require our services today? Or shall we all leave you to clean your own mess? The other servants snicker. They are not scared of her anymore. They have seen her scrubbing floors, taking orders, being humiliated by Zara. They have seen her brought low. And now they see her for what she really is. A rich woman, playing dress-up. A mother who loved so desperately, she destroyed everything she touched.
3 weeks pass. 3 weeks of Obinna not answering her calls, not responding to her messages, not coming home. His assistant tells her he's staying at his office apartment, working 20-hour days, not eating properly, not sleeping, just working and working like a man trying to outrun his own thoughts. Mama Chioma sits in her big empty mansion in Victoria Island and understands what loneliness really means. Her money cannot fix this. Her power cannot fix this. She broke her son's trust, and trust cannot be bought. She goes to the village to find Chidima. The girl's mother answers the door, suspicious and protective. "Who is asking for my daughter?" "I am," Mama Chioma says. "I am the woman who pretended to be a maid, who lied to your daughter, who owes her an apology, and probably much more." The mother looks at her for a long moment, then spits on the ground at her feet. "My daughter cries every night. My daughter, who has always been strong, who has survived poverty and loss and hardship, cries because a rich woman used her as a toy. You want to apologize. You want to feel better about yourself. Go away. My daughter does not need your money or your guilt." The door slams in her face. Mama Chioma drives back to Lagos with tears blurring the road. She thinks about what the Babalawo told her. To find true gold, you must walk through dust. She walked through dust. She removed her crown. She saw what she needed to see. But what did it cost? Her son hates her. The woman who could save him thinks she is a monster, and she is alone with the truth that good intentions paved with lies lead nowhere but to ruin. She goes to her husband's grave. It is in a private cemetery where the wealthy bury their dead under marble and gold inscriptions. But his grave is simple. He insisted on that before he died. Just his name, his dates, and one line. He loved his family more than his fortune. She sits on the grass beside him and talks like he is still there. "I failed," she tells the headstone. "I tried to save our son, and I only pushed him further away. What should I do? How do I fix this?" The wind blows through the trees. No answer comes. But sitting there in the silence, something shifts inside her. She realizes that her mistake was not caring too much. It was thinking she could control love. Thinking she could engineer happiness like a business deal. Love does not work that way. Love requires trust, and she gave none. She demanded it from her son, from Chidima, from everyone, but she offered nothing in return except manipulation and lies. On the 21st day after the revelation, something happens that changes everything. Mama Chioma is at home when her phone rings. It is Jerome, the driver. "Madam," he says, his voice shaking, "you need to come to the office, now." "What happened?" "It is Oga. He collapsed. We called the ambulance. They are taking him to the hospital." Her blood turns to ice. "Which hospital?" He tells her. She is already running to her car. Traffic in Lagos is a nightmare, but she does not care. She drives like a woman possessed, honking, weaving, praying to every god and ancestor she can name. "Do not take my son, please. I have made so many mistakes, but do not punish him for my failures. Let me fix this. Give me one more chance." At the hospital, she finds Jerome and the assistant in the waiting room. "Where is he? What happened?" "The doctors are with him now," the assistant says. "They think it is exhaustion, severe stress, no sleep, not eating. His body does shut down, madam." "This is my fault," she whispers. "This is all my fault." She sits in that waiting room for 3 hours. 3 hours of fluorescent lights and antiseptic smell, and the sound of other people's tragedies echoing down hallways. And then a doctor comes out. "Mrs. Adeyemi," she stands. "How is my son?" "He is stable, resting, but I must tell you. He is not physically sick. Not really. His body is fine, but his mind, his spirit, that is what is killing him. He needs rest. He needs peace. He needs whatever is breaking his heart to stop. Can I see him?" The doctor hesitates. He said he does not want visitors. "Please," she begs. "I am his mother." The doctor looks at her with something like pity. "That is what he specifically said. No visitors, especially not his mother." The words hit her like a physical blow. She sits back down, nods. "Thank you, doctor." She waits anyway.
sits in that plastic chair and waits, because where else will she go? Her son is in a hospital bed, 20 feet away, and she cannot see him, cannot hold his hand, cannot tell him she is sorry. This is what her lies have earned her. This distance, this wall.
Hours pass. Night falls. The assistant and Jerome go home, but Mama Chioma stays. She will stay all night if she has to, stay forever if that is what it takes. And then, near midnight, someone else walks into the hospital. Someone Mama Chioma thought she would never see again. Chidinma. The girl is carrying a small bag. She looks thinner, tired, like she has not been sleeping either. She walks to the reception desk. "I am here to see Obina Adeyemi," she tells the nurse. "Are you family?" the nurse asks. Chidinma hesitates, then says quietly, "I am someone who cares about him." The nurse nods. Room 304. Chidinma turns toward the elevators and sees Mama Chioma sitting in the corner. Their eyes meet. For a moment, neither speaks. Then Chidinma walks over. "How long have you been here?" she asks. "Since they brought him in," Mama Chioma replies. 7 hours now." "Did they let you see him?" Mama Chioma shakes her head. "He does not want to see me." "And you?" Chidinma looks away. "I do not know. I do not know if he wants to see me either, but I had to come. I heard what happened and I had to come, even if he hates me, even if he blames me for your lies. I had to make sure he is okay." Mama Chioma looks at this young woman and sees something she has been too blind to see before. Real love. Not the kind that asks, "What can I get from this person?" but the kind that asks, "What can I give?" Even if it costs everything, even if it breaks me. "You should go to him," Mama Chioma says. "You should tell him how you feel." Chidinma laughs bitterly. "Tell him what? That I fell in love with him while working as his maid? That his mother knew before he did? That every moment between us is tainted with deception? Tell him that despite everything, despite the lies and the pain and the impossible situation, I still think about him every minute of every day? That I cannot eat or sleep or breathe without wondering if he is okay? That I quit my job and went back to my village and still could not escape him because he's everywhere, in every song, every sunset, every dream. What good would that do?" "It would give him the truth," Mama Chioma says quietly. "The one thing no one has given him in years. The one thing I failed to give him. Real, raw, unprotected truth." Chidinma wipes her eyes. "I am scared. What if he rejects me? What if he thinks I am just another woman after his money?" "Then at least you will know," Mama Chioma says, "and you can move on with your life. But if you do not tell him, you will spend the rest of your years wondering what if. Trust me, I know about regret. It is a heavy burden to carry." Chidinma looks at the elevator, then back at Mama Chioma. "Why are you helping me? After everything that happened, why would you want me anywhere near your son?" "Because," Mama Chioma says, her voice breaking, "I have spent 3 weeks learning that I cannot choose who my son loves. I cannot control his happiness. All I can do is step back and pray that the universe gives him what I could not. Peace, joy, someone who sees him not as a bank account, but as a human being. And you, Chidinma, you are that person. Even if you hate me, even if you never forgive me, you are what he needs. And what I need does not matter anymore." Chidinma studies her for a long moment, then does something unexpected. She reaches out and takes Mama Chioma's hand. "I do not hate you," she says softly. "I am angry. I am hurt. But I do not hate you. You were a mother trying to save her son. You just went about it the wrong way. Maybe one day I will forgive you. Maybe one day your son will too. But right now, I need to go see if he will even talk to me." She lets go of Mama Chioma's hand and walks to the elevator. Mama Chioma watches her go
and prays harder than she has ever prayed in her life.
Chidima stands outside room 304 for 5 full minutes before she finds the courage to knock. "Come in," a tired voice says from inside. She opens the door. Obinna is sitting up in bed looking at his phone. He looks up and freezes when he sees her. "Chidima," he whispers, "what are you doing here?" "I heard you collapsed," she says. "I had to make sure you are okay." He stares at her. "You came all the way from your village? I thought you never wanted to see me again." "After what my mother did. After all the lies." She steps into the room. "Can I sit?" He nods. She sits in the chair beside his bed. They look at each other in silence, then both start talking at the same time. "I need to tell you something. I owe you an explanation." They stop. Nervous laughs. "You first," he says. Chidima takes a deep breath. "When I first started working in your house, I thought you were just another rich man. Cold, distant, too important to notice people like me. But then you helped me pick up that laundry. And you smiled. And I saw something in you that I did not expect. Kindness. Real kindness. Not the fake kind that rich people show when they want something. And the more I got to know you, the more I realized you were not cold. You were lonely. Trapped. Pretending to be okay when you were drowning. And I wanted to help you. I wanted to make you smile more often. I wanted to remind you that life is more than work and money and business deals. But somewhere along the way, I stopped wanting to help and started wanting something else. I fell in love with you, Obinna. I know I should not have. I know we are from different worlds. I know your mother's lies complicate everything. But I cannot take it back. I cannot unlove you just because it is inconvenient or impossible or wrong. So I am telling you now, not because I expect anything from you, but because you deserve to know. You deserve to have someone tell you the truth, even when it is scary." She stops, waits for him to say something. Anything. But he just looks at her with an expression she cannot read. "I should go," she says finally. "I am sorry. I should not have burdened you with this." She stands to leave. "Wait," he says. She turns back. His eyes are wet. "You think you fell in love with me?" he asks. "You think you are the only one?" "Chidima, I have been in relationships with some of the most beautiful, successful women in Nigeria. Models, lawyers, doctors, business owners, women who looked perfect on paper, and I felt nothing. Nothing but emptiness and a certainty that they did not see me. They saw my bank account in a human shape. But then you walked into my house and you looked at me like I was just a man, not a billionaire, not a prize to win, just Obinna. And when you told me I worked too hard, when you asked if money makes me happy, when you smiled at me like my happiness actually mattered to you, I felt something I have not felt in years. Hope. I fell in love with you too, Chidima. Maybe from that first moment in the hallway. Or maybe it was the 100th time you said good morning like you meant it. I do not know when it happened. I just know that when my mother's lies came out, when you walked out that door, I felt like someone ripped my heart out of my chest. And I have been barely surviving ever since." Chidima cannot breathe. "You love me?" He nods. "But I did not know how to tell you. I did not know if you could ever see past the money and the mansions and the impossible distance between our lives. And then my mother's deception made everything worse, made everything feel fake, made me question if anything between us was real or just part of her manipulations." "Is it real?" she asks. "What you feel, is it real?" He reaches out and takes her hand. "It is the most real thing in my life, the only real thing. Everything else is performance. But when I am with you, I remember who I used to be before the money turned me into this empty version of myself. You make me want to be human again." Tears are streaming down her face now. "I am just a maid. I have nothing to offer you." "You have everything I need," he says. "You have yourself, your honesty, your strength, your joy. You think I need more money, more success?
I am drowning in wealth, Chidima, but I was starving for someone who sees me, and you see me. You always have.
She leans forward. He meets her halfway. Their foreheads touch. They stay like that, breathing the same air. And for the first time in weeks, both of them feel something like peace. I am still angry at your mother, Chidima whispers. I know, he says. So am I. But maybe, she pulls back to look at him. Maybe she was not completely wrong. Maybe we would never have found each other without her interference. Maybe her mistake led us to something right. He considers this. You think we can forgive her? Eventually. I think, Chidima says carefully, that mothers make mistakes just like everyone else, and that love, even when it is clumsy and controlling and wrapped in lies, is still love. Your mother loves you, Obina. She just forgot to trust you. We do not have to forgive her today or tomorrow, but maybe someday. He nods slowly. Maybe someday. Right now, I just want to focus on this, on us, on figuring out how a billionaire and a former maid build a life together. She smiles through her tears. One day at a time? One day at a time, he agrees. Mama Chioma is still in the waiting room when Chidima comes back down hours later. The sun is starting to rise. Mama Chioma has not slept, has barely moved. She looks up when she hears footsteps. How is he? She asks. He's okay, Chidima says. Physically, he is fine. Emotionally, he is healing. They both are. Did you tell him? Mama Chioma asks. Did you tell him how you feel? Chidima nods. And he told me too. They look at each other. Mama Chioma wants to ask if she can see her son, wants to beg for forgiveness, but she knows this is not her moment. This is not about her. So instead she says, thank you for coming, for loving my son when I taught him not to trust love, for being brave enough to tell the truth when I was too cowardly to do the same. Chidima sits down beside her. He is not ready to see you yet, she says gently, but he will be. One day. Just give him time. How much time? Mama Chioma asks. As long as it takes, Chidima says. Months pass. Mama Chioma throws herself into charity work. Real work, not just writing checks. She volunteers at shelters. She tutors children in poor neighborhoods. She starts a foundation in her late husband's name that provides scholarships for maids and drivers and gardeners to go to school, to chase dreams they thought were impossible. She does not do this for recognition. She does it because Chidima was right. She spent so long being rich that she forgot how to be human. And she's learning again, slowly, painfully, but learning. She hears about Obina through other people. He and Chidima are together, taking it slow, building something real. He has cut back his work hours, started treating his staff like family, changed. And Mama Chioma is happy for him, even though it breaks her heart that she is not part of his life anymore. This is the price of her mistakes, this distance, this exile from the person she loves most. 6 months after the hospital, on a Saturday morning, Mama Chioma's doorbell rings. She's not expecting anyone. She opens the door and freezes. Obina is standing there. He looks healthy, rested, happy in a way she has not seen him in years. Mama, he says, just that one word. She cannot speak, cannot move. Tears are already falling. Can I come in? He asks. She nods and steps aside. He enters. They go to the living room, sit across from each other like strangers. I am sorry, she says immediately. I am so sorry. I know, he says. Chidima told me you have been volunteering, that you started a foundation, that you are trying to be better. I am trying, she whispers, but I do not know if I will ever be able to make up for what I did. You cannot, he says bluntly. You cannot undo the lies. You cannot erase the hurt. But maybe that is not the point. Maybe the point is just to keep trying anyway, to keep showing up even when forgiveness seems impossible. She looks at him. Are you saying?
I am saying I want my mother back, he tells her. Not the controlling woman who thought she knew best. Not the billionaire who solves everything with money and schemes. I want the mother who taught me to be kind when I was young. The woman who used to sing in the kitchen and tell me stories about her own mother. The mama who loved me before I was rich, before any of this. Can you be that person again?
I do not know, she admits. But I want to try. I want to learn how to love you without trying to control you. I want to trust you to make your own choices, even when I am scared you will get hurt. It is hard for me, so hard, but I will keep trying, because you are my son, and I would rather fail at trusting you than succeed at losing you. He stands up. She thinks he's leaving, but instead he walked over to her and extends his hand. She takes it. He pulls her up and into a hug. She breaks down completely, sobs into his shoulder like a child. I missed you, she cries. I missed you so much. I know, Mama, he says. I missed you too. They stand there holding each other, and it feels like coming home after a long, painful journey. When they finally pull apart, she asks, Chidima, will she forgive me too? He smiles. Why do you not ask her yourself? She's in the car. He went back out and returned with Chidima. The young woman looks nervous but determined. Mama Chioma looks at her, this girl who saved her son, and does something she has never done in her life. She gets down on her knees. What are you doing? Chidima gasps. I am asking for forgiveness, Mama Chioma says. The proper way. The way my mother taught me. On my knees with humility. I wronged you, Chidima. I used you. I lied to you. I treated you like a tool instead of a person. And I am sorry. I am so deeply sorry. Please get up, Chidima says, uncomfortable. You do not have to do this. Yes, I do, Mama Chioma insists. Because you deserve an apology that cost me something, and my pride is all I have left to give. Chidima looks at Obinna. He nods encouragingly. She turns back to Mama Chioma. I forgive you, she says quietly. Not because you are kneeling, not because I have forgotten, but because holding on to anger is too heavy, and I am tired of carrying it. Mama Chioma rises. Thank you, she whispers. And I promise you this. I will never interfere in your relationship with my son. Never manipulate or control or test you again. You have my word and my blessing for whatever that is worth. One year later, in a garden ceremony that blends traditional Igbo customs with modern elegance, Obinna and Chidima get married. It is not the society wedding people expected. It is small, intimate, filled with family and real friends. Chidima's mother and siblings sit in the front row, crying happy tears. The staff from Obinna's house are all invited guests, not servers. Chef Emeka made the wedding cake. Jerome decorated the cars. Even Gloria is there, looking uncomfortable but genuine in her congratulations. And Mama Chioma? She sits in the second row, not the first. Does not give a speech. Does not try to control any of the planning. Just sits and watches her son marry a woman who loves him for all the right reasons. When the ceremony ends and everyone is celebrating, Chidima comes to find her. Thank you, the new bride says, for not interfering. Mama Chioma laughs. It was the hardest thing I have ever done, but also the best. Watching you two build this together, make your own choices, your own mistakes, your own happiness. This is what love is supposed to look like. Chidima hesitates, then says, we have decided something, Obinna and I. We want you to be involved in our lives.
Not running them, but parts of them. Grandmother to our future children, advisor when we ask. Family, always family. Mama Chioma's eyes fill with tears for the 1,000th time. Are you sure? We are sure, Obinna says, appearing beside his new wife. But there are rules. She nods. Tell me. No more lying. No more scheming. No more pretending to be someone you are not. If you have concerns, you talk to us directly. If you disagree with our choices, you say so honestly, but then you respect our decisions. Can you do that? I can try, she says. And when I fail, because I probably will, you call me out. You remind me. You do not let me fall back into old patterns. Deal, he says. They embrace. All three of them. And in that moment, Mama Chioma understands something she should have known all along. Family is not about perfection. It is not about control. It is about showing up, trying, failing, forgiving, and trying again.
So this is where our story ends, or maybe where it really begins. Mama Chioma learned that you cannot engineer love. You cannot control happiness. You cannot force people to become who you think they should be. All you can do is love them as they are, trust them to find their own way, and be there when they stumble. Obinna learned that wealth means nothing without humanity. That the people society tells us are beneath us often have the most to teach us. That real love sees past bank accounts and social status to the heart underneath. And Chidinma learned that sometimes the impossible becomes possible. That dreams can come true even when you are scrubbing floors. That being true to yourself is worth more than any amount of money. But the biggest lesson belongs to all of us watching this story. We learn that mothers are human. They make mistakes, sometimes terrible ones born from terrible love. And we have to decide, each of us, whether we can forgive the people who hurt us while trying to help us. Whether we can see past the action to the intention. Whether we can hold people accountable while still holding them close. Mama Chioma spent 3 weeks as a maid in her son's house and discovered truths she could never have learned from the top of her ivory tower. That servants are people with dreams and dignity. That her son was not the man she thought he was. That love, real love, cannot be bought or arranged or controlled. It grows wild in unexpected places. Between a billionaire and a maid, between a mother and her son she almost lost, between mistake and redemption. If you have stayed with this story until the very end, then you understand something important. You understand that life is not simple, that people are complicated, that right and wrong blur together in the messy middle where we all actually live. So tell me, what would you have done? If you were Mama Chioma, watching your child drift away, would you have risked everything to save them? If you were Obinna, would you have forgiven the mother who betrayed your trust? If you were Chidinma, would you have given your heart to a man from a world so different from your own? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Tell us your stories of love and lies and the complicated truths in between. And if this story moved you, if it made you think or feel or question, then hit that subscribe button. Share this video with someone who needs to hear that broken things can be mended, that rich or poor, powerful or powerless, we all just want to be seen, to be loved, to be forgiven when we fail. Next week, we bring you another story from the heart of Africa. Another tale of wealth and wisdom, pride and humility, love and redemption. Until then, remember this. The richest person is not the one with the most money. It is the one with the most love.
And sometimes, to find that love, you have to take off your crown, put on a maid's uniform, and learn to see the world through different eyes. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being part of this journey. Now go tell someone you love them. Not because they are perfect, but because they are human. Just like you. Just like all of us.